Hey, everybody. So it is John Carpenter, and I am back again with Snelling Live. And I am honored to have the MJ of hotels, Bruce Jordan, here with me. Bruce, thank you so much.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
So I know, we've kind of had some conversations, and I've seen a couple of episodes of your videos, and I've watched some podcasts that you've been on. You tell us a little bit about you. You do everything, and I mean everything. I mean everything, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I started out at the property level as a
Hmm.
temp in the accounting department at a Hyatt, and then within 1 year, I went from accounts payables to being the manager of that whole department.
It's
And
crazy.
started out as a temp. Yeah, and I think I was like 20 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And so from there, I went on to IHG corporate. Where IHG had throw like 9, 10, 15 hotels on you at one time. So
Hmm.
that's when I was able to really see how some hotels win and how some hotels lose. And a lot of it is just a lot of it is management. And then
Right.
of course the other side of the coin is marketing. A lot of their marketing just sucked, and they didn't know how to get the reviews up and things of that nature. So from then on, I had to go back to the property level because there were some things that I was missing in my career that I where I wanted to get to that I didn't feel like I could get from the corporate office. And the
Right.
corporate office is boring. Corporate office is a little boring, So the property level is a little bit more exciting. So I said, let me get back to the property. So
Yeah, and I
from the yeah,
And I think that's funny. You say that corporate office is a little boring because you're not seeing people every day, right? You're not talking to the people. You're not helping guests. You're just not in the face or thick of it every day.
exactly. Like when most people get to corporate office, they're like, "Oh yeah, I made it," but you're seeing the same people over and over and over again.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
anyone that's been at the property level, they're not used to that.
No.
So it's they kind of like maybe I need to get back to the property for a little while. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then now, I mean, you've done, like I said, you do everything. So, I mean, I've seen some of these videos you do. Obviously, flying a drone around the property is interesting. How did you get into the marketing piece?
well, the marketing piece I actually learned from fitness. A friend of mine, I
Okay.
learned sales and marketing for fitness. A friend of mine, Frankie Egger, he needed some help open up his gym. Frankie Egger is like a UFC champion, so I
Hmm.
helped him open up a gym in North Brunswick, New Jersey. And it was suffering. It was a brand new gym, and at the time, I really didn't know sales and marketing that well, and I knew I needed it in my career.
Right.
So I didn't want to do sales and marketing at a hotel because if you lose a 6,000, 10,000, $15,000 contract, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But if I just lose a $20 membership, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can lose that sale. So
Yep.
they walked through the process. They trained me how to do sales. They trained me how to do marketing, and I was able to bring that piece over into hotels.
Yeah.
So
And that's pretty cool because I know, we've dabbled in a little bit of marketing for people, and it's an interesting thing. I mean, like you and I were having a conversation offline, I started in hotels and worked my way through for 3 or 4 years and then went to restaurants. And then it was when I got to come back, it was really interesting to me because as much as an industry changes, the industry didn't change in that time frame that I left. And it was 19 years, honestly. I mean, outside of key cards, right? Like everything else kind of was the same. We had to hand make the keys, but the key cards came along, and so to see the marketing pieces kind of come along are critical. Now, the other day you had posted you needed open position. So again, you're doing everything when you're there. You're currently at a hotel, right?
correct, correct.
Yeah.
I save felon properties, and
Yep.
half of it is operations. The other half of it is sales and marketing, and they got to get their reviews up. So I'm at a property right now that the operations just wasn't going as smooth as they could have. So we're turning those around, and once everything is set up in place, I can go ahead and get on the marketing. A lot of hotels, they have a really hard time with marketing because they're just so old school. They really just
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's a good word to put it. Old school. I
Hmm.
see that I would say the same thing from hiring when I'm working with clients in the hotel industry that, it's a little antiquated in the hiring processes. They can speed up a little bit. They can cut some layers out. And especially when you're fighting so much for competition and talent right now. I mean, when you're marketing for a hotel, I'm sure, I mean, I was watching your Crown Plaza Atlanta perimeter one. you've got quite a few hotels around that property, so there's got to be a way to stand out, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's actually how it was. You know, a lot of people in hotel management watch my show, but it
Hmm.
was guests. Guests were watching my show because they wanted to know something about the hotel and they
Yep.
couldn't find anything except,
Yep.
our videos.
Yeah.
So that's how the channel really took off. Is it was their guests looking for more information about their hotel that the own hotel just didn't have.
Yeah.
So
And I think there's a storytelling piece to it as well, because I know you've done a few things as far as true hotel leaders go and things like that. And you kind of bring in the leadership out of some of these hotels. Why is that important for people to understand as well?
well, one the reason why I started True Hotel Leaders is because I really didn't feel like the CEO's voice was getting to the property level.
Right.
So I started True Hotel Leaders so I can ask the questions that we want to know at the property, and
Nice.
it goes straight to this from the CEO's mouth. So it's a dialogue between the property level to the CEO. Because when I was at IHG Corporate, where the CEO was,
Hmm.
you'll be lucky if you're able to ask him one question every
Right.
2 years. So now he gets to answer a bunch of questions that's all on our minds, for a whole hour or a half an
Yeah.
hour. So
Yeah.
that's why I said, you know what, this is going to be a great show. So at least we'll get the information that we know or need to know at the property level.
Yeah. And that's actually a sneaky little way to improve their employer brand, isn't it? Because
Absolutely.
your CEOs get in front of not only the current employees, but potential future employees, right? And so they're able to kind of share their story and tell or answer the questions that are burning questions, if you would. And that kind of helps, I think, long term to kind of grow themselves as an employer brand as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
was well, the one that really took off was it was Rich Gandhi, because he let out all the dirty secrets about how franchises play. And
Yeah.
Raul Leal and Ken Green, those they were no joke. They're like, we're going to tell the truth. So this is what it
Well,
is.
and you know what though, there's the thing to transparency. I'm as transparent as I can be with anybody who wants it, and I think that if they ask, I'll tell them like this is how we do things, or this is what's going on, or things like that. And I mean, it's just critical for a lot of these people. But when you look back on everything you've done, you've got. I mean, you've talked to recruiters, you've talked to GMs, you've talked to CEOs, you've talked to. I mean, you're showing the guests. Like, what's your? I can't even say if you say this. What's your favorite part?
Yeah, yeah. Favorite part of
I mean,
those. For me, I love hotel management do's and don'ts.
right?
But at the end of the day, I know my purpose, and my purpose is to save people's jobs and save owners' investments. So I have to keep growing and I have to keep learning, so I'm able to do that at an expedited level.
Yeah, yeah.
Because usually when I get the call, it's already too late. So I have
Oh
to
yeah,
I have to move
oh yeah.
fast.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and we get it's kind of we play in that same field. We get the call to help fill a general manager role, and first question is, okay, well, how long has the position been open, right?
mhm.
And it's okay. Well, we've been looking for 6 weeks. We've been looking for 8 weeks. Well, 8 weeks without a general manager, and you're running a task force person who might not want to be there, or you're not running it at all. That's a challenge. And so, what happens is too, and people don't realize this when a company posts the position on H Careers, Indeed, whatever it may be, it runs for 3 weeks and then gets reposted. And so when your candidates see it reposted 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? It's like, oh, that position's always posted. They don't want to hire anybody. When in
uh
reality,
yeah.
they're interviewing the whole time, but they're just leaving that thing run to, see if anybody else is out there. And so it does kind of hurt that brand, and it does kind of hurt a little bit. So they have to watch those kind of things. And I think it kind of flips back to what you were saying about, the reviews. It's the same situation, right? There's Glassdoor reviews, there's TripAdvisor reviews. And how do you get them up? And how do you focus on getting TripAdvisor reviews up for people?
One of the main things I use is my text messaging software. It
Okay.
screens the reviews before they're able to leave a review. So I
Okay.
guess they'll get a message say, "Hey, give us a one a score between 1 and 5, one being bad, five being good, and let us know what do you think about your stay." and all the ones that reply 4 or 5, they get a text message to leave a review.
Yeah.
The ones that reply 1 to 3, someone's on the phone calling them, trying to figure out what their problem is, so that they get it resolved before they're able to leave a review.
Gotcha.
So
That is
yeah,
amazing. That's awesome. Like, you know, I think that's the thing. Like, how are they going to make sure they stand out in that? Because I know when I look at a hotel, I'm looking at reviews. I mean, whether or not I'm going to Vegas, what I do in Vegas is I like actually, I've stayed at 15 different properties, but I still look at the ones I haven't stayed at to see who's got the higher review, right? And that's where I'm going to go. So,
there you
you
go. There you go. And you know, it's so crazy. We do the same thing for hotels that we do on Amazon. We bypass all the good reviews and go straight to the bottom for the bad ones.
Yep.
Because it's not that the review is bad. We just want to know if we can handle what is bad. So a bad review won't kill you. You know, it's just we want to know if we can handle with the bad side of this property.
You know, and that's a good way to put it, because there is a thing in the industry that I realize when I look at New York City hotels or Vegas hotels and I see a bad review, it's okay. We're talking about a property that turns over 1,000 rooms a night. There's going to be a bad review out of that, right? Now, so you have to look at what the review is, what it is. I mean, and so when you look at those reviews, it's kind of the same thing on Amazon. You're going to look at it and go, okay, well, I can put up with the fact that the color might not have been as black as they said it was going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and order the shirt or whatever. It's going to be the same thing when I look at a hotel review. But that text messaging platform is phenomenal. Did you come up with that, or?
Yeah, I actually did the UX design for the software before I hired a coder to code it out.
Talent upon talent. But so what do you have coming up? I mean, I know you're at a property now. How long do you plan on being there, and how long do you think that you're going to move on to your next one?
I actually, my company just acquired 2 management contracts. Is this one, another one in San Antonio.
Awesome.
And I got to get back to Orlando so I can shoot the 3rd episode of Hotel Management Do's and Don'ts. It's so funny that you said that about Amazon, because that's where we got the idea from for the Hotel Bash.
Yeah.
The show was designed to take a hotel's weaknesses and sell them as strength to the guests.
Okay.
So when I say, oh yeah, the revenue management is terrible, the prices are too low, the guest hears this is a good deal.
That is true. Yeah, you're right. It's 100%. I can see that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But so what happened with Amazon is, what they realized is that when a product had 5 stars, it didn't outsell the product that had 4.5 stars.
Right.
So people thought something was wrong with the product at 5 stars because it didn't have any negative reviews.
Oh yeah.
So like you'll see like these crazy, you ever seen these crazy 1-star reviews on Amazon? You're like, why would someone even post that? A lot of times it is the seller that's posting that bad review so the product will sell faster. Yeah. Like, oh man, I got the screwdriver, but I needed the screwdriver in 3 hours and it only came in 24 hours. You're like, who the hell is going to expect Amazon to deliver a screwdriver in 3 hours? That's crazy. Yep. And they're even more sympathetic with the product now, because this idiot is leaving a review like this and they're upset now. So now they're really going to buy the product.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like those little things. And that's what we do at Hotel Management Do's and Don'ts, is we take the negatives and sell them as positives.
Yeah, and I think it's funny you say that, because a lot of times when I go to review something on Amazon and I take a look at it to buy it, it's like, I was given this product as free, so I'm gonna, I have to leave a review, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, but there's 10 reviews and they were all free products. Like, so what's the real review behind that thing? And there isn't any, because they were all paid for reviews for the most part. And at least like you with that kind of playing it out that way and doing what you do, that's amazing, because the real video, the other, and it actually ties back to another thing that I do when I'm looking at a hotel. I'll look at Oyster too, because I want to know, if I go to oyster.com, it's kind of going to give you the real deal about what the hotel kind of looks like. It gives you the weaknesses, doesn't it? It gives you the pros, it gives you the cons. And there's a con everywhere you go, but you're doing it in a different light. You're doing it on the video, you're doing it in, in those kind of things. And I think people are looking for that, because they don't want to read it. They want to see it. They want to hear it. They want a real life Bruce Jordan in that hotel telling them what it's like.
That is for sure. That is for sure. You know, you did mention the that you at work maintenance, and it was
Yeah.
so funny. You know, when I used to hire people, I used to go through the resume and then do the references, and yeah, that didn't work out too well for me. So one day I said, you know what? I'm gonna bring this guy to the room and just have him inspect the room for maintenance issues.
Yep.
See what he does. He goes in the room. He found like 10 housekeeping issues, not one maintenance issue.
See?
Like,
And
man,
that's and that is a work that is an on hand. Let's be honest with what we're going to do, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's another thing that, you know, you probably can do, and you probably do, right? Is the not necessarily cross training, but other people in the hotel or whatever you're doing in your department, another department might see something differently that kind of falls. And so you might not see it because you see it every day and you just think, oh, that's fine, right? But somebody else kind of sees it and is like, wait, that's not right. And I think that, you know, you always take that opinion of someone else too. And
For
it's,
sure.
you know, it'll help out. Well, man, I'm super happy you were able to make it today. Like, it was awesome. And I know you're in the middle of helping another property survive. So I'm going to let you get back to that. But thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, John.
Have a
Thanks
great
for
one,
having
man.
me. All right, you too.